Well, everybody, I've got 7 o'clock, so I guess we'll get started here. So, good evening, everybody. I'd like to call the regular council meeting for the Village of Wolverine Lake to order for Wednesday, August 12th. We got the pledge of the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, roll call, please.
Dumont,
Here.
Sinkowitz,
Here.
Nedrow,
Here.
Duff,
Here.
Malik,
He's on mute.
He's here somewhere. He's on mute.
okay, he's,
There he is.
nice.
There he is. Hi, Bob.
Malik,
Here.
thank you. Scott,
Here.
York,
Here.
Okay, I don't believe we have any additions to business, do we, Mr. Smith?
The only thing would be, I was going to put it under the Vita Trail extension, would be the update kind of with the Veterans Memorial. I don't know if it needs to be its own under.
Yeah, we could probably lump that into with the Veterans Memorial.
Yeah.
Mr. Smith, did you receive my
I
letter?
do have a
on August
question
11th?
for add-ons.
Hold on for a second, Mr. Malik. Mr. Powell's asking a question there.
Did you receive my letter of August 11th requesting a request for council to approve a purchase of 15 E1 sanitary sewer lift stations?
We did, and Mr. Kondak and I spoke about that with Tabitha. I don't know. I think, Mike, did she provide you with the final update? How many?
Yeah, I don't think we'll need anywhere near that amount, and I'd rather we defer this if it's deferrable until either the next meeting or some point forward, some point in the future. We don't
When you
need.
say we don't need, are you saying that we don't need the stations or we don't need a council vote?
We certainly need a council vote with that. Been our experience in the past. I think the number
Oh, man.
of stations that's requested is a little bit high. We coordinated our numbers with Julia today. We had 27 on hand at the end of June 3rd, at the end of the fiscal year, June 30, 2020. We've installed 3 since then. I think 2 others are spoken for. Our number is therefore 22. We only put in 15 last year. I think buying 15 at this point in time would be a little extravagant. Extravagance, not the right word, but a bit much.
Okay, because Commerce Township is ordering a truckload and the prices will go up the end of this year. So I just point that out to you. All right, no problem.
Okay. Mr. Malik, you had a question about additions to business? Where is he? Bob?
Well, can you guys hear me?
Yep,
Bob Malik?
go ahead.
Well, I talked to Mike Smith earlier in the week about the traffic speed sign on Benstein,
Okay.
and I didn't know if anything has been resolved or looked into, whether that needs to be added to business or not. You know, we had a notice to
address
have
that
it
real
moved
quick if
like
you'd
over
like.
3 months ago.
I can address that if you'd like. I contacted,
I don't know what's going on, but
okay, I
Wanna add that on your
contacted,
report?
I'm sorry.
Let Chief go first, okay?
okay, I contacted the Oakland County Road Commission. They had a couple of different concerns. One of them was the different colors, which I've taken care of, made them all the yellow colors, which are compliant. The other one was the feedback. So I had to shut off the thank you and slow down and that kind of stuff. So that's been taken care of. It bought us some time. We still had to remove it because of that pole they say is non-compliant. They thought it was going to be a temporary issue. So we do still plan on moving that. It's just, it bought us some time by making those changes.
Fair enough.
all right. Can Ron hear me?
Yes.
All right. I'm having the same problem I had 2 months ago. I keep losing everything. I want to zero out and come back in new. Every time you added somebody, I lost sound and everything.
If you want to hang up and click the link and
It
come back.
dialed back in on the iPad.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm going to do that right now.
Okay,
Moving right along.
well, I think we can probably move ahead
Okay.
while he's
I'm
redialing.
back. Can I be heard?
Oh, you're great. That was quick.
All right, fine. Now it's good. Thank you.
I think you surprised the heck out of Mr. Duff and everybody else, so.
Is this an addition of business, Bob?
Well,
That's
no,
kind
it
of what
doesn't
we're on
have-
right
that's
now,
fine.
Bob.
How about we approve the agenda?
That's
So moved.
great. I'll make a motion for
Yeah.
that.
Okay, a motion by Duff, second by
Second.
by York. To approve the agenda as amended or as approved, I guess, as presented here. Roll call, please.
You're on mute, Tammy.
I have nothing.
Tammy, roll call, please, if she can hear us.
Sorry, my mute button, I couldn't find it. I apologize.
Okay, no problem.
Come on.
That's the pleasure of these meetings, you know?
Was that Dumont?
Yes.
Yes.
Sinkowitz,
Yes.
Nedrow,
Yes.
Duff,
Yes.
Malik,
Malik, you with us?
He froze
I'll
again.
come back.
Frozen.
Got a black screen again.
Yeah.
I can see his face, but
Just get on the telephone and talk to us.
Okay. Scott,
Yes.
York,
yes.
and if anybody sees Malik, maybe if he shakes his head, yes, or something.
Now I don't see him.
Anyways.
No, I don't see him.
Yeah, he's gone.
Have to give him a new
Oh,
apple.
he's coming back now.
Bob, can you hear us?
You're on mute, Bob.
You're on mute.
I wonder if all communities have this kind of problem.
Yeah.
They do.
Oh, he's back off.
Frozen again.
Can we just move along?
Yep.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay, well, motion carries on that. How about that? Okay. Correspondence and information. We received some minor stuff in our packet, which is really not that relevant, so. Call to the public. Do we have any public on yet, Rob?
We have two members of the public on the line. If anybody would like to address council, you can press *9 to raise your hand. No one has raised their hand.
Okay.
Okay.
I wonder if they can hear us. Hopefully.
I believe they can, yes.
Okay, well, that's fine then. Okay, moving along. Consideration of approving consent agenda. So we've got the minutes from last council meeting. We got the warrants. We got the receive and file the reports. And then we have a resolution exempting the village for the requirements of Act 152-211 regarding the medical benefit plan coverage year, which begins January 1st of 2021. So that was a resolution stating that we were going to opt out of that plan. I just wanted to make sure that that was on the public record. So
Motion.
that was a
Second.
motion by Duff, second by Dumont. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Dumont,
Yes.
Sinkowitz,
Yes.
Nedrow,
Yes.
Duff,
Yes.
Malik, Scott,
Yes.
York.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. We have no board appointments. And at this point, we'll move along to recommendations from our engineer regarding first of all, Benstein Pathway and the Clara Miller Park bathroom update, the final Greenway drain update, and then finally the Vita Trail and Veterans Memorial. So,
Mr. President,
Well-
before we go any farther, what's going on with Bob Malley? Do we know? I mean, is it at his end or our end or what?
It's on his end. He's not in the room unless he called in. But I can't tell if one of these three phone callers is him.
check phone numbers here real quick.
Oh,
669-1056. There he is. Bob, you on there?
Yeah, he's there.
Okay.
He's not muted, but I don't hear him.
I don't hear him either. Yeah. Bob, are you there?
Do we have a picture of him?
No, he's on his phone.
Well, if he can hear, he can.
He's muted. No, he's unmuted. So
I'm unmuted, okay? I don't know
There you
what's
are.
going on.
there you are. Okay, good deal. We got him.
All
Go
right.
ahead.
Let us
Okay,
proceed.
Mr. Powell, I think you're smooth to go ahead.
All right. Thank you, council. And may I first personally want to thank council for my very unusual call in last month. Thank you for your patience. I was on a bus and then a group of motorcycles came by, and thank you very much for sharing my vacation with me there a little bit last month. So that being said, I wanted to bring you up to date on a couple things. The Benstein Pathway update. I had a meeting last week with AT&T. They had a power pole in the way, which was right in front of the apartment building, just south of the Dairy Twist there. They have told me that they will have that out of the way if it's not already this week. It should be gone. The road commission has approved the project. The contractor who's doing the paving is pulling the permits, and the contractor JJM has agreed to start the earthwork the middle of next week, so that in about a week and a half to 2 weeks we should have a pathway in leading from Clara Miller Park up to the Dairy Twist.
Awesome.
Long time coming, but finally have it set. All the contractors and the road commission have worked with us very well, and unfortunately the residents and the property owners there did not. Otherwise we'd have that pathway pushed further off the road, but it looks like in the next couple of weeks we'll have a brand new pathway so that we can protect the village residents from the traffic on Benstein Road.
Great.
It's a long time coming.
Yes. So if there are aren't any questions on that, I'll move to the next item.
Okay.
This item, I'm going to be looking for actually discussion amongst you council members. This is a restroom, an expansion of the restroom facility. It includes modifying the existing restroom that will be changed to ADA accessible both for the men and women's. There's plenty of room to do that modification with only one small change to the plumbing, and that's for the stool itself has to be moved over closer to the exterior wall so that a wheelchair can sit next to the stool, and they can use the bar on the wall and their wheelchair to be able to move over onto the stool.
Mike,
Otherwise, Otherwise, we're taking down 2 interior block walls and putting up the partitions to provide the room necessary for ADA requirements. Mr. Councilman Sikowitz was a great deal of help on this, obviously. We utilized some plans that he forwarded to me. We had a meeting with Ed, and we went over the plan a couple times. I also suggested, and he agreed to a couple things, that while we're expanding the storage area to the south, the existing plumbing for the septic field and the drainage comes out underneath that area. So not knowing the condition of that, I'm proposing that that plumbing be replaced with a brand new Schedule 40. And while we're at it, we thought we would put a drain in 1 or 2 locations. Right now we have it shown towards the east wall, but we may want to put one on the west wall as well for a potential future sink. If we're going to put a floor in there, we probably ought to run our best guess at the underground so that we can put a sink in there with a drain sometime in the future if we wanted to. And then I'd also like council to discuss if that is the right position for a potential sink outside the facility on the west side. I am proposing to extend the sidewalk down the west side there to be able to access the 6-foot overhead door that's in the west side of the storage facility. And you'll also see that I have proposed just 4 LED lights with a switch and 4 plugs along the back wall or the northerly wall of that facility. We have shown 3 glass block windows to provide light, but we wanted to make sure that it was secure, and obviously any operational windows may be detrimental to damage and access. So we've made them glass block, and then I did some investigation and found that the Park and Rec Committee and Park and Rec Department has 2 substantial storage areas elsewhere in the village. One down in the records office that is about 2 feet by 8 feet wide and up on the wall, up on shelving. And then something about the same size in the DPW building. After doing some computations, it really didn't appear that it was all going to fit in here with room to be able to spare for additional items. So Councilman Sikowitz and I thought it would be a good idea to give council not only the ability to discuss it, but you can see I've got a dashed line in along the southerly wall there. And I've asked the contractors to give us a price per every 2 feet. You know, those trusses are going to be on 2 foot on center. So if the contractors can come through and give us a price per 2 foot increments, it'll give you councilmen the ability to decide how much bigger versus the economic return or the economic cost for this to be expanded further to the south. And so it makes sense to move this building further to the south if we needed it larger. If we made the addition to the west, it kind of encroaches on the pavilion area and in the more open area there to the west. So I like the idea of moving it to the south, but I would really appreciate council's discussion and input on this. I wanted to point out one additional thing, and I don't know if it's in your packet, but we had 8 contractors express an interest in bidding on this. I was hoping to get some for council tonight. One said that he has changed his company a little bit and doesn't do this kind of work anymore. Another local contractor, Tom Leventis, expressed an interest, but he is a little busy right now and can't get to it right away. So I wanted council to know that we have a number of people that are willing to give quotes on this, but we don't have any back yet.
Mike,
So that being said, I'd appreciate some input.
Okay, hold on, Ed. We'll go to Ed first and then we'll go around. I know there's gonna be a lot of people that want to speak on this.
Mr. President, Walt's hand was up for quite a while.
Yeah, okay. Well, Ed kind of put some of this stuff together, so let's get his opinion first and then we'll move along to everybody else.
Mike, I think you spoke on the west wall. You called that a sink. I think that's going to be a drinking fountain.
I did, you're right. Outside the structure, that was proposed to be a drinking fountain there along that walkway on the west side. But I didn't know if you wanted, since that dark line's going to be the drain, we could put a floor drain for a potential sink along the east wall and inside the west wall as well, for virtually no cost. And so I didn't know if that kind of option might be good to build into the structure.
The questions on the moving of the toilets. If we left the toilets where they were, and I had mentioned to you is to put a grab bar that was maybe 6 or 8 inches from the wall, would that not be enough room for the wheelchair to get alongside?
It does not leave enough room. It has to have 3 feet alongside the toilet to be able to actually move the wheelchair back in next to the stool.
Okay, and then the other thing is, I think you and I talked about it. The toilets would probably have to be raised.
It would either have to be raised, or quite frankly, I'd recommend just getting a new ADA
Just getting a new
stool.
ADA toilet.
Correct.
Right, okay, fine. That was the other point. And the other comment I want to make, the reason I put this building behind and not to the right or the left is it's there, it's not out in the open, and it makes it a lot easier to match the 2 roofs up. If you put one on the right and the left, you're going to have different trusses this way. The roof will all be combined in as one, and it'll look like one continuous building.
Makes sense. Okay. That it for you right now, Ed?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, I'm gonna move, let's go around the council table just like we would. So we'll go to Mr. Scott, then we'll go to Mr. York and around. Okay, so John?
Okay, I was wondering, how many square feet of each 2-foot addition does that make? Michael, I can't read the width of the building, to be honest with you.
Well, you're like me.
25,
Yeah, so it's
75 square feet?
25 by 2.
right. So it's 50 square feet for every 2 feet.
Square feet,
Correct.
okay.
Okay. Anything else, John?
Well, I was just going to ask the next question on the reason you did that. You said you felt there was not going to be enough space with the original drawing. Did you have any gut feeling how many additional extensions that we should have on there, or you're recommending, or is that something that Park and Recs would be better to come back to you on?
I think Park and Rec would have a good handle on not only the material, but what else they might like stored in there.
Okay. Fair enough.
Okay, fair enough. Go to Mr. York.
Thank you, Mr. President. I thought that the original proposal that we saw was that the addition was going to be the same size as the current building, and that's okay. And I'm for everything that we're proposing today the way it is. I would like to hear from the Park and Rec team, from Mr. Germany, on is that enough storage, and not only that, but I think that they're not happy with having this building. The proposal was to have a separate building. My goal is to get this bathroom updated. That's all I want to get done, and have some storage. If we can get that done within the next year, and then down the road, we have something else that suits what the Park and Rec team needs, I'm all for that as well. That's within reason and within budget. So that's kind of my point, is just, I want to get this moving. I don't want to delay it, that we're going to talk about 2 feet here or 2 feet there.
Yep, okay. All set there?
Yes.
Mr. Dumont?
Yeah, I agree with Walter, actually. He said it better than I would have. I want to get these bathrooms set up where the, those that use them are more comfortable than they are now using them. We'll say it that way. And we do need to consult with the park and Rec team because they know better than we do what they need. Now we can just, put a ton of square footage off one side of the building and yeah, they'll have their storage. That'd be great. But we don't know exactly what they store. We don't know their game. And I say that, and I'm on their board, but I'm not terribly involved with the nuts and bolts. So I'm a liaison and I'm not involved with their day-to-day activities. So I don't want to I don't want to tell them what they need, I guess is a good way to put it. So I agree with Walter. Let's get.
I think it'd be good to open up to Parks and Rec chair after we get done through council comments here too. So
thank you.
Mark?
I would ask that we get an inventory of what exactly they have and what exactly they need to store. Let's actually do this right instead of coming up with extra storage that isn't going to get used and doesn't actually need to get used.
Good call.
So I think, and again, I was the liaison for Parks and Rec for 3 years. So I've seen most of the stuff that they have, and a lot of it is stuff that can go through and get purged out, I think. So I think they need to do an inventory and figure out exactly what they need to keep.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
Bob? Mr. Malik?
Yeah, I have a question, and Mark brought it up about an inventory of what they plan on storing. And my biggest concern is, right now, stuff is stored in a building that has a basic temperature control. What are we going to do if we're going to want to store all their stuff out there and there's items that have to be controlled with the humidity and heat and all this other stuff? I mean, the storage is great, but what are we going to store?
Yeah, and again, Bob, I'm
And
gonna
I agree with Mark a lot.
just from what I remember, there's really nothing that needs climate control. Some of it is stored in the barn in the DPW area. It's not stuff that needs climate control. You're talking about the banners and things like that. That's the largest items that they're storing.
I'm sure we can get the Parks and Rec chair to tell us about what.
Yeah,
those-
and
those
the
items are.
reason I ask is it something that's going to have a little furnace for the winter? I mean, we're looking at something we're not sure of, so that inventory is very important.
Yeah, I would like to see a
All I
full
have.
inventory of what they have.
Well, I think
Yep.
that we'll probably have that answer pretty quick here. So
All right.
go ahead, Mark. Chair meeting. We'll open to the Parks chair.
Thank you, Mr. President. In terms of inventory, to give you a little bit of a rundown for what I can think of off the top of my head, a lot of it is stored in the DPW, one of the bays up against the wall. That includes our 20 by 40 tents, our other pop-up tents, coolers, grills, things like that. None of that needs temperature control. In terms of the stuff downstairs near the council chambers, there is probably a few things that at times would need that. That could be potentially, if it works for the administrator or whoever's working at the village hall, really reducing the amount of space there so that things like syrups for the snow cone machine and that kind of perishable stuff could stay in the there in a at least moderately temperature controlled area. In terms of storage, something to throw out there is that the Onwards and Upwards Committee is also looking for some storage that they could potentially store some things from the barge, like the felt that goes over the top and
Carpeting, yeah.
So they are looking for a spot and have been talking with Andy from the DPW about that as well. So there is some things there that could then be shared with the Parks and Rec storage area as well to further help them out.
I'm not sure we want an outside entity storing their stuff in our building.
We currently have that already with Onwards and Upwards stuff downstairs in the next to the council chambers. So
Yeah,
it's
if
already
you could
happening.
provide a written inventory of what you have, that'd be great.
Why don't we let Mark and Michael get together and make that determination, Mark? I don't know if we have to override the micro management of that.
Well, no, I'm curious from a standpoint of what they actually have. I remember vaguely from what they had when I was their liaison, but it would be interesting just to see a written inventory of what the assets they have are. They're a village asset.
Mark, that's very responsible. It's a great idea. The thing is, our volunteers already have a lot of weight on their shoulders. And also, and hopefully we can let Mark Jeremini speak on this as well. There are upcoming programs, we'll say, and parties, and they're going to have additional items that are going to be added to it. But I don't know that we need to burden, and I know you mean well, Mark, I really do, but I don't.
Again, we're trying to figure out square footage, and now you're saying that they're not willing to do the work, so
Well,
we know what they have.
Actually, why don't we go this route? Why don't we, since we have this, since Mr. Powell's looking at getting quotes on a expandable basis, I mean, we're gonna have a quote with every 2-foot addition. So why don't we get Parks and Recs? They can probably put a square footage together, get some ideas as far as inventory together. I would think that would be fairly simple to do, and get their opinion on what they would like for storage area, looking a little forward with some expansion and possibly having some onwards and upwards articles in there or whatever. But then we can look at the size, look at a couple options, and try to get this thing moving forward.
Yeah, my goal is to get this done before the end of the year.
I
That'd be
agree.
great.
Mr. President,
Yeah, go ahead,
two
Ed.
things I'd like to bring up. I've heard rumor control that we're not going to have a barge anymore.
I'm
That
not aware of that at
We
all.
don't know that, Ed. We don't know that. That's still ongoing, and right now we do.
That's something to think about, though. If
It
we're
won't
not
fit in the
gonna have a
bathroom.
barge, you know, and the other
Yeah,
thing
that's
is,
not gonna affect the bathrooms.
Right.
well, talking about putting in storage.
So, Ed, sorry.
I think we're getting a little too
Well,
overzealous about storage right
Question
now.
for Parks and Rec
President.
is Parks and Rec planning on carrying on the tradition of the corn roast?
Yes, but just, no, I mean,
Okay.
obviously this year we cannot.
No,
COVID's been an issue
no,
this year.
I'm not talking
But
about.
there is
this.
no, oh no, we've already rolled some of our bookings from this year into next year. So
Good,
that the down payments that we made weren't lost. Instead, they're just forwarded to 2021.
good. Thank you.
Okay, go ahead, Walt.
Mr. President, yes. So my point is, Mark, is there still plan for a separate building other than, because I know that Parks and Rec were looking for something more to hold events and concessions. Can we just agree to do this building addition the way it is? I know you originally, when we discussed, you wanted 500 feet for storage. Can we just make this building for storage and then discuss the future for whatever else we need for concessions and so forth, just to get this done, like Mark Duff said, and most people agree, we want to try to get this done.
You can, if that's the prerogative of council, absolutely. Will it help? It certainly will. And as I've quoted with the paper, anything that improves the accessibility of our bathrooms is a good thing. But I will stress again that I am not Parks and Rec. That is a board of people, and that board has not been included in this discussion, and that is a source of frustration from the board. And I would also mention that because the village is in pursuit of a grant, that any monies that we were spending on this at this time would then be forfeited in a sense of if we were to earn the grant. We can do a separate building in the future if that's how it works, and that would be perfectly acceptable, but it's just a matter of, will that actually happen?
Well, I guess concerning the grant, I understand your point on that, but considering the grant, we might not even get that grant for a while yet. So I know we want to move forward on the bathrooms. I totally agree that the Parks and Rec board ought to have some input on this to some degree too. So I would urge that maybe you could go back to the Parks and Rec board and try to try to suggest that, you know, we get some common ground here to get this project moving. And I would like to accept a motion to at least move forward with some
I'll make a
bids.
motion.
Second, second.
There's a motion by Duff, second by Sinkowitz. I think.
I think it was Dumont.
It was Sinkowitz, actually.
All right.
No, it was Dumont.
Any discussion? If there's gonna be discussion, I think we'll probably go around the table one more time. So, Mr. Scott, any discussion on this?
No, I agree with everything that was being said. Let's just get this moving. The 2-foot extensions, we can handle that between the parties that really are going to have to make the decision. So let's get a vote to get this on the game.
Okay, Walt, anything?
Yeah, I think this picture that I'm seeing today in the material is less square footage. Originally, I think Mark Germany told me they wanted 500 square feet for storage. Can we say that we want equal 500 square feet of storage? Same size?
I think we're gonna get a bid. At this point, we're gonna get a bid that's movable or expandable. So I would like the idea that we get a bid on something like this and we have Parks and Rec meet at their meeting and have some input on this also, so that we collectively can get something going.
Okay, great, thank you.
Ed, anything?
No, I'm all for it. I think the plan is great.
Yep.
If it has to be a little bit bigger, fine, but let's get her done.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Mr. Dumont.
Yes, let's do this.
Okay, Mr. Duff,
I'm good with it. Let's do it.
Mr. Malik.
Well, at the last meeting, I was the one that made the suggestion that let's get these bathrooms done so they'll be in compliance with the Handicapped Act. And for us to sit here and beat this up, let's make the motion, which is on the floor. Let's vote on it and get it built.
Okay, roll call vote, please.
Trying to get unmuted.
It's okay.
From you.
Now you're muted. You were unmuted.
There you go.
Okay, sorry, it kept, anyways, Dumont,
Yes.
Sinkowitz,
Yes.
Nedrow,
Yes.
Duff,
Yep.
Malik,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
York.
Yes.
Great. Moving on to Greenaway Drain update, Mr. Powell.
All right, this is also good news. Not only do we have all our permits, the DPW has been out there and placed the soil erosion control fence in the location where the muck or the silt is going to be taken out of the drain and dewatered. The contractor is modifying their matting surface, which they have to place down so that their tractors can go out on it and sit there. We're looking before the next council meeting that this drain is going to be totally done. And I wanted, it's about time for this one as well.
Super. Any comments? I know it's been a long time coming, so that's great. And last item is the Vita Trail Extension paving update along with the Veterans Memorial update, so.
Yes, so if I could start out, there are two items that I need to bring to council's attention. The first one is, if you recall, instead of having the paving contractor do all the prep work for the ground, they are not experts in that. And so we were paying a premium for them to go out and hire contractors to do that work. We were able to remove about $5,000 from the project if we did that. And so we hired a local contractor to come in and prepare the ground, put the gravel down for the asphalt, and you've probably seen it out there. It is all set, ready to receive the asphalt itself. So my number one topic then in this item is a pay request for John King Trucking for all the prep work and the placing of the aggregate base for the paving.
Moved.
Second.
A motion by Dumont, second by Mr. Sinkowitz. That was a cost, I believe, of
5,000.
$8,500.
$8,500. Okay, discussion, any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Was that Dumont?
Dumont,
Yes.
Sinkowitz,
Yes.
Nadro,
Yes.
Duff,
Yes.
Malik,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
York.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
The next item under this particular item is the actual pavement itself. And I have to apologize to council because I missed the mark with all the things going on with contractors and the COVID. The costs went up a lot higher than what I thought. And I represented at the council last meeting. And the wisdom of council was, can we go back and renegotiate a little bit with the contractors since they do a lot of work here in the village? Quite frankly, that saved us about $4,000 by doing that. As you can see, I received 6 bids back for the actual paving itself. And the local bidder, HG Sarter, who was low bidder last time as well, is at $12,350. And you can see it ranged all the way up to $22,000 for paving. The interesting thing, this will put the asphalt down. That'll provide the elevation that the Memorial Committee needs to work from for their memorial and their platform and their brick pavers. And so Ron and I have been working together on making sure that that elevation is correct. The interesting thing is the paving contractor, the low paving contractor, is really waiting for a call from me. They would like to pave this tomorrow. And so it's kind of up to council whether or not, and I think that Michael Condek might have something to say on this as well, because this does put us about 5,000 over the, I believe, over the budget of $18,000 for the project. And so I want to make sure that council's aware of this. But quite frankly, we could have this paved tomorrow if council so desires.
Michael, Starter has been a good friend of the village and does real quality work, doesn't he?
He does. Yeah, he does. I'm going to just say that. Obviously, he requires some inspection, but yes, he is.
I move to start tomorrow.
Can I say something?
Go ahead, Ron.
Okay, I
That was
have
my
this.
motion, though.
Yeah, okay, well.
Are we open to the public?
Was that heard, Brian?
What was that?
Was my motion heard?
Yeah, we'll follow on that. Okay, go ahead, Dave. We had a motion from Dumont. Second. I hear a second.
Tomorrow.
I hear a second.
Second, Malik.
Okay, second by Mr. Malik. Okay, discussion. Let's open to Ron Kruger since he's on the Veterans Memorial Committee. That's not necessarily just open public, so go ahead, Ron.
Well, I have the trenching that's going through that area scheduled for the 19th. Okay, we have to put a trench through there to get our electrical work in. Okay, so this is the first I've heard of trying to do something that quick, which is fine. You know, I agree that it needs to be done quickly, but I think there should have been some kind of communication that, you know, I would have been made aware of. I have my electrician set up. I have the material set up, everything set up to go on the 19th, which is, I believe,
week from now.
Week from now.
Okay.
Yep.
And so I would say that, yes, we're fine to do the work, but also we need to, you know, I need to be able to get my electricity in there.
That's fine. I'm sure we can put that off.
Friendly amendment to adjust my motion, if it's possible, and Michael Powell can maybe deal with this.
Start on the 24th.
To where we do things in order.
Let's have Mr. Powell.
And so the contractor called me yesterday, Ron. So things happen the way they happen. We have a couple options. The contractor called yesterday and says he has a hole in his schedule for tomorrow and Friday. And so if we don't hit this window, it's possible the paving gets put off until it's September. And so we may want to, instead of open ditching, we may want to use the contractor, the townships or the villages directionally drilling contractor who can put a 2-inch pipe in at about $15 a lineal foot and have that.
I got
directionally
somebody,
drilled.
he's $65 an hour. It's Jeff. You know who Jeff
Yep,
is.
absolutely.
Okay. And it's going to be just a couple $100 to do the trench.
Then that's the decision that you and
Oh,
council
really?
have to make to maybe put it off until September.
I'd say let's just do it now, directional bore.
Well, how many feet are we looking at?
Just
We're
put it
looking at about, it's 55, about 60 feet under the parking that, at the angle that we're talking about. If you do directional boring, I guess you could do it at more of an angle to meet our first point, and that would be, let's just call it 100 feet. So that we're talking $1,500 then.
Let's just put it off. Is there any super rush to get this done other than there was an opening in a schedule?
Well, I don't want to put it off till September because Friday I'm meeting the hardscape contractor who's planning on getting in there. It's going to either be the 10th of September or it'll have to be a little bit later, simply because I'm going to be gone for a week in September. Okay, which is, I
don't think that we should take and spend the money on directional boring if we don't have to.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Well, if we're talking what, $65 a lineal? How
No,
much a lineal
$65
feet?
an hour. So, he was only going to charge me $100 to go under if I was going straight under the parking area. But because in our meetings with Consumers Energy, we found out that box that's on the other side of the parking lot that nobody knew what it was is worth about $100,000. Okay, because it houses all the sensors and everything that Consumer Powers uses for the gas line. So heaven forbid if we just arbitrarily went through there when everybody was thinking that there was nothing there. And from there, when on the other side of the parking lot, we're going to go parallel with the parking lot, which I believe was another 80 feet or so. I'm just guessing at this point. But because I didn't want to go through the berm, because that meant we had a big chance of really damaging all the trees that are along that north side of the parking area.
Can we go around the south side of the parking lot?
Well, that's what we're doing, is we're going around the south side. We're crossing the parking lot and following the south side.
Okay, what if we go around the parking lot? I mean, that's gonna be a little bit more open trench, but it wouldn't be the cost of directionally boring it, correct?
Well, we don't want to increase the length of the run and everything, because now we're going to start dealing with voltage drops and other things that are
Just increase the size of the wire.
It's
Costs
not
money
as,
there, Dave.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, you got a motion in a second. Point of order, call for the vote, and we'll vote it down or up. Whichever way.
Just hold a second.
Well, we're
Mark.
still in discussion.
Just a quick second, Mark. Ron, is there any way you can get to that? You said you're going to use Jeff.
yeah.
Is there any way you can get to him to see if he can get something done quickly? Quicker than his schedule on the 19th?
Well, I have to get him. I have to get the electrician who's going to drop all the, they have schedules that they're working under too.
Okay.
And
Okay, this is Bob Malik here.
Then where Marcus
I have a-
calling
Hold
for
on,
the
Bob.
vote, you're going to take a chance to go to September. I guess that's what I'm hearing. Is that true, Michael?
Well, what I can do is obviously work with the contractor. He's a local guy,
Yep.
and I'm not saying it's tomorrow or September. I just know he called with a break in his schedule. So
Okay.
why don't we work together?
I was gonna say, why don't we have communication between Mr. Kruger and Mr. Powell, and let's get this thing moving too.
Yeah.
Mr. President, one comment. Mike Powell, could we get the approach and the parking lot paved now and then do that last strip that's going out at another time and date? in
No,
September?
where they're looking to do it is virtually at the end of the existing paving, Ed. So it'd be a strip right down the center of the new pavement.
Okay. All right.
I,
Well, let's-
I have a question
Now
before you
relate.
go on.
Go ahead, Bob.
All right, Bob Malik here. Why can't, if Jeff digs the trench, can't he lay the conduit in and like everything else, the wire can be fed through after?
Not the
I mean,
electrician,
that,
Bob.
that happens all the time in these jobs.
Yep.
I think that's the plan, but Ron's concerned that Jeff's not going to be able to get to it quickly.
Well,
by
unless
quickly,
we
Well,
ask,
let's
we
just,
don't know.
let's let the two of you guys work it out, the timing details, okay?
can do
So I
that.
mean, we can play what ifs all night here.
Yeah.
So let's move this forward too, okay? Roll call vote, please.
What is the motion?
To move forward with the asphalt paving on
Nice.
the parking lot extension.
Well, we
And
don't, when or what?
we know the dollar amount, it's gonna be
No, no,
12,350.
no,
We
no,
know it's
not
gonna be
dollars.
Sarter, and we know that Mr. Kruger and Mr. Powell are gonna work things out as far as the electrical and the paving schedules.
Right.
Okay? Roll call, please.
Dumont,
Yes.
Pinkowitz,
Yes.
Nedrow,
Yes.
Duff,
Yes.
Malik,
Yes,
Scott,
Yes.
York.
Yes.
Sorry, motorcycle, dog barking.
Anything else?
No,
Hey,
thank you very much. I think that's
Thank you.
wise, council.
Thank you, Mike.
So what got approved? What are we
Pave
doing?
the parking lot.
We're moving forward with the paving.
Correct.
Tomorrow?
No,
Wow.
you and Mr. Powell are gonna be working out the details as far as the timing goes.
Right.
Okay? Understand, Ron?
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Sorry for the pressure, Ron.
No, I just don't, I mean, actually, I set all this up yesterday. Had I known, but before I made all my phone calls that this was a possibility, if someone had called me and said it's a possibility, I might have been able to shift it, not at 8 o'clock at night, the
Oh, I
night.
understand. That's fine. Well.
I just don't
let's-
see what the
let's-
holdup is, Ron.
Let's try for better communication going forward here, okay? Come on, guys. Enough.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we're done.
Thank you.
Okay, public hearings, we have none, new business. Discussion on Clara Miller Park rentals for football and
Wait.
other events.
Point of information, did you want to discuss the Veterans Memorial real fast?
Oh, yeah, sorry, I'm sorry. Go ahead, sorry, Mike.
Things are looking really good. We had the deadline for brick orders on July 31st, and for the month of July, we sold well over 100 bricks. We also sold one of the flag poles, the POW MIA flag, and we are in a much better position financially. Overall, we are sitting at over 220 bricks sold, and we'll be placing that order soon to have those in for the installation as well. So everything's made really good progress, and there was a terrific response in the last month.
Great.
Congratulations, Mark.
And we have a parking lot extension going forward also, so that's great. Okay.
And then
super.
did Rob want to share the image, Ron, showing the new design of the layout? I think that was part of, I didn't
Let
know.
me share that.
Just to show you what I think this is kind of updated.
Looks great, Ron Kruger.
Looks beautiful.
Sure
Thank you.
does.
Quite
Very
an
nice.
addition from a group of volunteers, no doubt about it.
I agree.
Very nice. Okay, anything else from the Veterans Memorial Committee?
can I ask one question?
Sure.
I wanted to ask Mark, I know you put the end on with the bricks and you said you're gonna be placing that order soon. Would it make sense for us to shoot on our website or whatever, you have one more week for the bricks just to see if you get any response before you actually send the order?
We could,
You
the
know,
only
it doesn't
concern
hurt
then
if you
is,
get-
it wouldn't hurt. We've had a few sneak in that, but the only issue with that is at the times, some people pay by check and they put it in the mail. And so when I'm going through the system, approving orders and things like that and reviewing them, I can't confirm that they've actually paid.
Well, no, but if
So-
we put that push, we could make a statement in there, you have to come to the village to pay for it. You know, if you get 10 more, 20 more, or 3 more,
It's,
is
yeah,
it
no,
worth the
absolutely.
time?
We're all for every brick order that gets in. And the good news is, even if somebody submits an order and doesn't get it in by this order date, we will be doing brick installations every year going forward.
Right, yeah, you'll have another order down the road, so.
This is just the
Well, I
opportunity to be a part of the
didn't know
first
if it made
installation.
sense for a last push.
They've already sent emails out the last couple of weeks with
Yeah,
that.
we
so.
have
I understand,
pretty
but
significant response.
you know,
so.
there's always that procrastinator.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
but Bob, they have another year and they've got a method, because I've done this before in college where I lived, and every year you can come back and they've got a way to pull the bricks out and put a new one in.
Right,
Not a problem. Thank you.
okay. That's it on that, so let's get moving on the Clara Millard Park rental for football and other events, I guess, huh? So I guess, Mr. Smith, you got some information on that?
Yes, we had I don't know if he's on the line. I don't see him. We had someone reach out to us from the Commerce Chargers Youth Football Organization, requesting to see what your feelings were with regards to utilizing Clara Miller Park football or the soccer field for football practice and ball field 3, I believe.
Yes.
Tentatively, they would have approximately 90 to 100 players, excuse me. They're proposing practice from 6 to 8 through Monday through Friday. I don't know if that means 100 players each night, or if that's, I don't know how the Chargers work. But they would like to use to discuss it as their number one choice. But I know with some executive orders and things like that, there are some concerns that Leanne, I believe, provided some stuff, and she wants to provide any more feedback on that. We know that a lot of the residents might be of concern with that, but we wanted to have council discuss that, because that kind of has come up with a lot of other communities who don't have the space or the proximity to the schools and to the people utilizing it to have that type of space. So I don't see him on, but I did invite him to talk, but he didn't. I don't believe I see him on.
Okay.
It would be from August 24th through November 7th is what he was proposing.
I'd just like to add, I was not on the board when the whole, and I can't remember what it's called, but the soccer
CW3.
field thing proposal went, and it was a big disaster.
Yeah, I would,
don't think
I
it's
would
a
say
good
that's
idea.
kind of the same thing we're getting back into with this.
Is there a financial agreement or is this just volunteer?
This would be just basically to permit them to do it. I mean, Leanne can chime in if she has any, the legal, I guess, aspect of it.
Yeah, Leanne.
To my knowledge, it's just, as far as whatever the financial would be, they said, and I don't know what the Parks and Rec did is with the baseball, but I think it was going to be similar to that. So I don't know if the baseball paid a fee for it. So that part I'm
I
not,
think they did. I think they had some rental fee or something
they
to
do,
take
yeah.
care of it.
Yes.
so that would probably be on par with that, but so that's not really a concern legally at all. And, and technically there's really nothing to say you must totally prohibit this at all either, but it's just the times we're in and the different concerns that come up with as far as the executive orders and the social distancing and the difficulty with that and bringing in like a whole new group. And you are through that permitting your public property to be used for this event. So it's kind of a gray area. It's not like really you're opening yourself up to liability per se, but you never say never. You never know. So it would be important that they would understand that, you as a municipality are kind of, responsible to make sure that your public property is being used as the law requires. And right now we do have
Right.
those executive orders. that complicate things. And I know, I'm sure the high school kids are practicing, and I'm not really familiar with exactly what they're doing and everything, but that's a little different because that's a school
That's a
sanction.
school property, yeah,
Yeah,
correct.
So this would be out of the goodness of our heart if we do it.
yeah,
And
pretty
after
much.
Carol, right?
I mean, even if there was no COVID, you would definitely not have to let them use it. It is a public park, but that doesn't mean that for their organization, they
Right.
have right to use it. And it's just, I think it just would be important that you have them, if you decide to do it, they need to give you a little more information about how they're going to manage things to the best of their ability to provide for that spacing where they can. And then just, on a side issue, I don't know what your parking issues are there for a group.
Well,
of
It's,
five.
and I'll say this, that.
Hold on, everybody. Let me call on people one
Go
at a
ahead.
time because we're just gonna start talking over each other, please.
Forgive me.
First couple people I'd like to go to, let's talk to Mark Giamini from Parks and Rec. Evidently, they've been involved a little bit, so I'd like to get his comments, and I'd like to go to Chief John after that, please.
Throwing it out to the board and everything else, the general concern was it'd be great if we can use our parks for practices and things like that, but this is if this group is 90 to 100 at the same time, that is between the 100-person executive order limitation, in addition to the stress that it would put on the parking lot and at practice start and practice end, which were complaints that were made and concerns regarding CW3, which were significantly smaller in the number of participants they were going to have. We are concerned that our parking lot is not quite equipped for that kind of crowd.
Okay.
And that would be a real stressor on the surrounding residents.
Chief John, any comments?
Here we go. Yeah, just a couple. One of the things too is we also close our bathrooms at the end of October. So we would have to extend that actually for a couple more weeks. And it gets very chilly at night. I'm not necessarily worried about a freeze at that time, but I know Andy has a lot of things that he has to deal with to close those up, as well as now we are going to have to place some additional receptacles down there because we know that if they're going to use it, they're also going to use their trash bins, et cetera. So that's going to put an extra burden on our council or on our DPW as well. So to me, my initial would be, I don't think that's going to fit what our vision of Claire Miller Park is, and I don't believe our citizens are going to want that either.
Especially this year with the COVID issues and the uncertainty of things. So,
Mr. President?
Yeah, go ahead, Ed.
Okay, real quick. Yeah, the reception we got with the soccer, and you're talking about 100 people, give or take, in a 2-hour period, the traffic, the noise. And like you said, you're going to have to, they're not going to run all the way to our current bathroom. So they're going to have to put up porta johns down there. And my other concern is that if ever anything happened, whenever there's a lawsuit, they always go for where the biggest money is, and that would be at the municipality or the community that is responsible for that. And the other thing is, with 100 kids in that area practicing and with their cleats, they're going to tear their grass up something a lot more than soccer ever would. And I'm against it.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, the CW3 thing didn't exactly go smoothly, but the biggest concern I had was about the residents that are on the park, so those that border the park.
Yeah.
And they didn't buy those houses in order to have a noisy park. They bought those houses to have a park, and if we add a bunch of noise to it, we have changed their lifestyle, and that's why I'm against it. Not because I'm against the kids.
Okay, well, I personally think that this year is probably not the year if we were going to go look at it. I don't think this is a real good time this year to move forward on something like this anyway. So I guess we can have a motion.
President,
So this
Yeah.
is discussion, right? Or do we need a motion?
We should have had.
Well, we have a motion. Nobody's motioned yet, so.
Should have had a motion
Mr.
before the
President.
discussion.
That's
Robert
true.
Malik
Yep.
here.
Good point,
Well, it
Mark.
said discussion on the agenda, so I was confused because I'll make a motion that we allow park rentals for football and other events.
I'll second that.
That
You're
was,
allowing it?
You're
I would-
you're
have to
supposed to make a motion in the positive, Ed.
Pardon me?
Supposed to
You
make
have
a
to make
motion
the
in the
motion in the
positive.
positive.
okay,
Leanne has her hand up.
go ahead,
I-
Leanne.
I just wanted to say that the motion, because I do believe Michael was going to bring up another event, which would be food truck usage. So
Yes.
just maybe limit your motion to use of it for the football instead of
Okay.
other events.
Correct.
Okay. I agree.
Okay, so we have a motion to move forward to allow football in Clara Miller Park, football practice park rentals, right?
Yes.
Okay, any discussion on the motion? So this is a motion to approve it. So roll call vote, please.
You're on mute, Tammy.
There we go. Thank you. Dumont,
No.
Sinkowitz,
No.
Nedrow,
No,
Duff,
No,
Malik,
No.
Scott,
Yes.
York.
No.
okay,
Thank you.
motion fails. Okay, well, as far as Mr. Smith, you had some other comments regarding,
Yes, I know Mark can take over a lot of this too, but we had a food truck, a singular vendor, but that kind of led to further discussion on utilizing Clara Miller Park because of COVID. There are some businesses that maybe their brick and mortar stores closed, but their food truck is still there as a viable option for them to continue their business. Whether or not we wanted to investigate allowing food trucks to come to Clara Miller Park, we'd have to have a lot of, as Leanne and I were talking about, placement either in, on a sidewalk, on the parking lot, in the grass, a specific time, all those different requirements. But see if there was any interest in that, whether it's one day a week, daily, monthly, whatever that is. But I know Mark from Parks and Rec was kind of, they were presented with that, which led to further discussion, and I'm sure Mark can expand upon.
Mark?
Thank you. There was a village resident who posted on Facebook talking about that on the private page, and there was some interest, so he did some research, found a food truck company that sort of acts as as a distributor and has 30 some odd food trucks under their umbrella that they can send out. And the way they do things, and they usually work with HOAs and the like, but is they would send out 1 or 2 food trucks, depending on you want, on a weekly or semi-weekly, whatever kind of basis you want, and for the duration of the contract. And the reason why the resident thought it would be useful to use Clara Miller is because it is a larger gathering site, so that if villagers from other HOAs or other areas in the village wanted to go by, pick up some food and go home, they could do so.
We were concerned that this was just one entity. Is that what the concern was? But then we were wondering if we would open it up to like Kaya or other places that have food trucks.
That,
Yeah,
that just,
don't worry, I don't know what to stop it.
What's that, Ed?
I said, I think it would be difficult to allow one and nobody else, or one group, or a rotation, and
can
I
we get
don't
a
see-
motion before we have a discussion, please?
Go ahead and make a motion.
I'll make a motion that we allow this.
Second.
All right, now we can.
Motion by Duff, second by Dumont to allow for food trucks of some sort in Clara Miller Park.
Yeah, and that's plural, right?
Food
Leanne has her
trucks.
hand up.
Yes.
Leanne, with the attorney's opinion.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, if these were to be approved, the village did institute their special event ordinance and policy. So that would definitely apply, and that's in chapter 1068 of your code. And it gives a whole procedure whereby they would have to do certain things and promise, to take care of the cleaning up and the condition of the event site, et cetera. So they would be subject to this ordinance, whether it be one food truck or, an event with numerous ones. And then I guess if it was something that you wanted to approve like twice a month or something, I guess that could be put on the permit. So they wouldn't have to apply for
Right.
new permit. You could make it good for those different dates, but they would have to, go through that process and
And they
comply.
could be limited to hours, different hours of operation on that permit also.
Correct. Yeah, you can put your restrictions in there. They'd have to have the, health department. And then any extra COVID regulations that you might want to enforce and things of that nature could be included, but then you would have to enforce that as well.
That's
Same kind of
fantastic.
situation with that too, a little bit then.
Yep.
Yeah, a little more manageable perhaps, but
Right.
yes.
Yeah. Well, what's council's pleasure on this one? I guess, any other discussion?
Yeah, Bob Malik here. I really don't like the idea for a couple reasons. You've got established businesses. You've got the Benstein Grill. You've got Glengarry. You got Come As You Are. You got Boone Kai in town. All these other places, and now you're going to get a flood of trucks come in from maybe who knows where, and this is going to take away from the businesses that have established themselves and this community frequents, keeps them in business. I'm not in favor at all, but that's one person. I guess we need to call for a vote.
Okay,
agree,
call the
Bob.
vote then.
Mr. President, if I may.
Yep, go
say
ahead,
something.
Mark.
A while ago, I believe we went and would not allow Benstein Grill to utilize our parking lot. I kind of think this is similar lines to that in terms of if we allow, again, similar lines to what Bob was saying, it's just going to hurt local businesses. And especially right now, I think that's just a bad thing.
Right.
I mean,
Let's call the vote then.
Dumont,
Yes.
Sinkowitz,
no.
Nedrow,
No.
Duff,
No.
Malik,
No.
Scott,
Yes.
York,
No.
Okay, motion fails. Okay, moving along. So item B, recommendation to designate an official delegate and alternate to the Michigan Municipal League Annual Convention. So this is September 29th through October 2nd. And I believe, Mr. Smith, if I'm not correct, that is a virtual meeting, right?
That is correct, which is why I'm bringing it up. Mike and I talked about it and stated, I guess, other times maybe someone couldn't make it because of distance, but this is all virtual.
Right. So anybody, would they like to be a delegate and an alternate to them?
What was the date of the meeting?
September 29th through October 2nd. The schedule is annual scheduled for 3 p.m. on the 29th. And I don't believe we really have any schedule, but that's basically, it goes throughout the day, I believe. Ed, you've been to those, haven't you, been in the past, or?
Yeah, but this is going to be like what we're doing right now, virtual, right?
I guess I'll
Correct.
volunteer for it. I'm fine with it.
Okay, so Mark was looking to be a delegate probably, and do we have an alternate? Not sure of my schedule, but I guess I'll
Mr. President, would this be something on our computer or would this be on the telephone like we're doing now?
most likely on
Computer?
the laptop, I would think, or computer.
Yeah, it says must have access to a computer and a smartphone, so both, I think.
So both, I guess, yeah.
That leaves me out.
Just to clarify, is it a once a year thing or is monthly?
It's a
or-
once a year, yeah, it's just a conference.
I'll be the alternate.
Okay,
So I
great.
make a motion that I nominate myself as the primary and Walt as the secondary.
Okay, motion by Duff, do we hear a second?
I second that motion.
Okay, second by Mr. Malik. All in favor, let's see, roll
Aye.
call, please.
Aye. Oh,
Aye.
Aye.
Dumont,
Yes.
Pinkowitz,
Yes.
Nedrow,
Yes,
Duff,
Yes.
Malik,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
York.
Yes.
Sorry, dog.
Okay, we're all set on that one. The next one is a letter of agreement with the Pass Me Local 2720 and Village of Wolverine Lake for our DPW staff. And I think at this point, this is the first that we've seen of it. Negotiation committee has not seen anything as far as that goes, so
I'd like
We
to
had-
make a motion that
we had an administration meeting earlier this evening, and I think it was our recommendation that we recommend to council that we push this to the
Second.
negotiation committee. So that was a motion by Sinkowitz, second by York, to move this to negotiating committee. Any discussion?
Yeah, forgive me, can you clarify the motion?
It is to move this agenda item, which is the agreement, to the negotiating committee for their comments and
Okay.
then recommendation back to council.
Thank you.
Okay? Sure. Any other discussion? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Dumont,
Yes.
Sinkowitz,
yes.
Nedrow,
Yes.
Duff,
Yep.
Malik,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
York.
Yes.
Okay. Item C, or D, actually, discussion on continuing the leaf bag handout program. Go ahead, Mike. Mike Smith, I believe. Is
Yes,
this any-
I know you added this as a discussion. Just
Yeah.
to give you a quick background, we purchased 150 packs of 5 each. So 150 of 5 each from Lowe's in 2016 at $1.88 a pack. So total we spent of $282, and we are coming up with, I believe, almost being depleted now. And so it's taken 4 years to get that. We were curious if we wanted to continue that that program and or expand it or decrease or whatever your thoughts were.
Yep, I just thought we'd put this on as a agenda item because we have been supplying these in the past, and just thought that,
I would make a motion that we continue on with the program.
I'll second that.
okay, motion by Sinkowitz, second by Duff,
That we do or don't.
that we
We do.
do continue on. So we're gonna
Mr.
authorize a 150 bags to be bought at least again.
Right,
And-
and Mr. President, I think we need to advertise this to the community. Okay?
I think it's on the
Whether
website. It generally is, isn't it,
Yeah,
guys?
it is.
Well, yeah, but you can't do it once and then, it's got to be blasted at people every couple of weeks. I
Okay.
mean, we're spending a fortune on this claw when I think this would help.
Okay. Roll call vote, please.
Dumont,
Yes.
Sinkowitz,
Yes.
Nedrow,
Yes.
Duff,
Yep.
Malik,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
York.
Yes.
Okay, next item is a recommendation to accept the resignation of our village administrator clerk, Michael Smith. And I truly regret to have this, but Mike's done a nice job for the time he has been here, and gonna be sorry to see him go, so.
So
But he's
moved.
going to other,
Second.
what was that?
Motion.
Okay, that was a motion by who?
Dumont.
Don, second by
Dumont,
Me.
second by,
Quetz, I think.
And,
Sinkowitz.
and,
Sinkowitz.
and out of love, by the way, not, and respect.
okay, that was to accept his resignation and any discussion. Okay,
Call for the vote.
roll call vote, please.
Yeah, I'd just like to say, that Mike, I think you've done some good for the village. I wish you would have stayed longer and wish you the best in your future.
Okay, roll call vote, please.
Dumont,
Yes.
Sinkowitz,
Yes.
Nedrow,
Yes.
Duff,
Yep.
Malik,
Yes.
Scott,
I'd like to also echo what you said, Walt. I've worked with Michael and he has implemented some very strong new items from website to et cetera, but I'll accept his recommendation. The best to you, Michael.
Thank you.
York,
Yes.
Okay. Next item is discussion on appointing a interim village administrator clerk. And last go around when we were in between, Mr. Condek stepped up and we've had discussion. We had an admin meeting with him recently here, and he is willing to do that again.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Dumont, second by Sinkowitz, I believe, if that was correct. Any discussion? And I
Yeah,
guess
we gonna,
go ahead, Bob.
Malik, are we gonna enhance Michael in the pay area for doing this?
Yes, we've already agreed, believe, to give him the same bump that he received last time, and he's agreed to that. We need to discuss along with this on how we're gonna move forward in our search for a new administrator. Mike signed on for a limited time. I know he doesn't want to do this forever.
Thanks,
Mike.
So,
I guess my point is, you say we're giving him the same bump. Here's a man that's been with us who steps up every time we need him. And I
Yep.
want to know, is that same bump enough? Okay, maybe that bump should be a touch more.
That's
my
a great
personal
point.
feeling.
Agreed.
let's let Mr. Condek speak to this. He's raising his hand.
When Nathan departed in December of 2018, I got a 25% bump. Same time, Tabitha Linsenmeyer, who performed most of the ceremonial duties and of the clerk, as well as putting together agendas and stuff like that, received a $3 an hour raise. Percentage-wise, I think if she got a $4 an hour raise in the interim period here, and I got my 25% that I had last time, I think we're perfectly good with that. Up to you guys, though.
You're asking for $4 for Tabitha?
Per hour.
That's going to be for the clerk, and we're going to be motioning that next, okay?
Okay.
Well, I just think if it was 25%, it should be 28% this time around, or 29 or 30. It's just every time we've called on our treasurer to step up, he has done so. He's done nothing but work hard for this community, and I think he should be rewarded.
And I appreciate that, Bob, but 25% I think is a good precedent. I'm perfectly happy with that.
Well, Mike, as I've said before, I'm talking about a taxpayer, not a councilman now. And I know what you bring to this community. Okay? And as a taxpayer, I'm not ashamed or afraid to admit that you should be paid more. Thank you, though.
Okay.
So do you want to make a motion then there, Mr. Malik, or what?
Well, I'd like to make a motion.
We've got a motion on the table, believe already, correct?
True.
Right.
We do.
So,
You can add
Then
to
I'll
it.
back off.
what's that, Ed?
We can add to it,
You
to the
can.
motion.
Can we add
Well, if
$4 to Tabitha's
Oh, no,
hourly rate?
That's a
Or
different
that's
motion
next.
there, Dave. That's the
Yeah,
next,
we're
the next
not
motion.
there
We're
yet.
talking just to the, just Condit.
Make
right,
it 30 for Mike Condit.
Well, that's my question. Can I make it friendly and turn it to a 30% increase?
That's your prerogative.
I'm fine with it.
Yes,
I'm
that's what
fine
I'd
with
like
it.
to make the motion.
There you go. Call for the vote.
Okay.
Does somebody want to second that or no?
You
I
don't
will.
need a second for it. You friendlied
Okay.
it.
That's fine. Thank you.
So the motion is to appoint Mike Condek, village administrator, interim basis for the 30% increase in pay. Okay, roll call vote, please.
Dumont,
Yes.
Sinkowitz,
Yes.
Nedrow,
Yes.
Duff,
Yep.
Malik,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
York,
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. Going on that same item then, we are going to have a discussion on how we want to move forward with search for a new administrator. If you remember last time when we transitioned from Mr. Byrd to Mr. Smith, we had, I believe his name was Frank Walsh. And the previous time we had the search go through the MML. There's other various ways we can look at going forward too. I think at this point, we need to make a decision on which way we want to proceed. I personally think last time worked pretty well.
Mr. President?
Yeah, go ahead, Ed.
I would not be in favor of the MML. And the last guy did a good job, but it was kind of brought up at the administrative meeting is, why don't we advertise and see what we get on our own? Because we will be the ultimate ones that will make the decision. And, you know, you got an administrative committee that, you know, you could look over resumes and pick out 10 or 15 and go from there, or just have the last guy do it. Just food for thought.
Okay, well, I guess we could go that route, and I'll tell you what, I don't think it would be a bad idea reaching out to Mr. Walsh to see what he might have to say at the same time too.
I'd like to make a motion that we not only post our own, but also reach out to Mr. Walsh and see if he's available to do the services he provided us last time.
Second.
Okay, that was motion by Duff, second by York. Any other discussion?
Well, I kind of like the fact of reaching out on our own first.
Well, that's
Evidently, the
what
last
motion is.
two times around, we had great candidates, but they didn't want to stay. So, you know, maybe we can make this mistake on our own.
Bob, that's what the motion is. We're only reaching out to Mr. Walsh to see if he's available. We're doing it ourselves first.
We're in discussion right now, correct?
Yes.
Right.
So also maybe we could figure out a way, well, we should look into why we have people that come for a couple years and then leave. What are their concerns, and then address those concerns so that they're more comfortable and they want to stay and want to serve here.
It's age. The village is a stepping stone in their career.
I agree. It's a good point, Ed. I agree.
Well, I think we've had some discussions at admin, and there's various items that have come into play to some degree. So, but we can discuss that down the road here too.
Point of order. Let's call for the vote.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Dumont,
Yes.
Sinkowitz,
Yes.
Nedrow,
Yes.
Duff,
Yes.
Malik,
Yes.
Scott,
No.
York.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. We need to look also to appoint Tabitha Linsmeyer as clerk, because we can't have a treasurer and clerk serve as one person, so.
I'd like to make a motion that we appoint Tabitha as the clerk and also give her a $4 raise. Make it a $5 raise.
Interim
Hey,
clerk at
I'll
this time.
second that. And then may I ask for a friendly on that as well? And that's that we also give Paige a raise, because there's going to be a lot of extra work for both of them when
Good point.
when
That's a
Michael
good point.
leaves.
Sure, I'm fine with that. So we want to do $5 or $5 each.
That would be fine.
$5 and $4.
Mr. Conduct, do you have any comments on that, or Mr. Smith?
As far as I'm concerned, the duties of the clerk are what warrant the increase in pay. It's an increase in Tabitha's workload, notwithstanding the fact that being a body short for a period of time will make everybody else shoulder an additional burden. But I think the premium should not be equal. I think because Tabitha's increasing her duties, she gets whatever raise you think is appropriate.
Would 5 and 3 work, Mr. Condit?
I think it does.
All right.
Yeah,
5 and 3.
agreed, agreed.
That's on an interim basis until we get new administrator in place, correct?
Yep.
Okay. Any other discussion? Roll call vote.
Dumont,
Yes.
Sinkowitz,
Yes.
Nedrow,
No?
Duff,
Yes.
Malik,
Yes.
Scott,
No.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. Just want to let you know, as far as the admin committee met, we are looking at, since Mr. Skondek is going to be looking at retiring here in the near future. We are going to be in a search and are possibly going to be possibly have candidates for the treasurer's position. So that's another one we're going to have to fill here very quickly. So we're going to be doing our due diligence to fill that position also. So there might be a possibility of going out to candidate in the area or possibly looking for a search here. So just wanted to let you know that that's moving forward also. Set topics for the August 26th work session.
Make a motion, we forgo it.
Second.
Okay. That was a motion by Duff, second by Sinkowitz to forego the work session. Go ahead,
I have
Bob.
discussion for that work session.
Yep, go ahead.
Being that this is already pushing September, do we need that work session to be able to discuss the potential of what's going to happen for Halloween? Okay, we don't want to drop the bomb here if we don't have Halloween candy at houses in September when it's right around the corner. Is that something we need to discuss?
I don't think we need
I
to
don't
discuss
think we
anything
need to
because we
talk
don't
about
know
it at all,
anything from the
Bob.
government yet.
I don't think it's even something, that's pointless to even talk
Well-
about at this juncture.
Well, again, it's right around the corner, gentlemen.
Yeah, but we can't do anything.
And hey, Bob, as of a week ago, my kids were still going back to school, actual face-to-face, and that got changed instantly. So
Yeah, let's see where COVID's going here.
kind of pointless to take and make long-term plans right now, unfortunately.
Exactly.
Okay.
Well, my point being, if we have the discussion now and something is extended, if school isn't back, we can then act on it right away. We don't have to say, well, geez, let's have a meeting and talk about it.
I don't think
We'll
we
have
need
made
a
our
full
plan.
meeting for that, Bob.
Okay, whatever, that's fine with me.
Why don't we plan on putting that on the agenda for September? How's that?
That's great. Call for the vote.
Roll call vote. Roll call vote, please.
Dumont,
Yes.
Sinkowitz,
Yes.
Nedrow,
Yes.
Duff,
Yes.
Malik,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
York,
Yes.
Okay, pending business. I don't believe we have any update from Police Chief Ellsworth up north in Traverse City.
Oh, yeah, you want to make it quick.
Yes, I do, because sunset in another 12 minutes. So I really have nothing to add other than good luck, Mr. Smith. I know we didn't always see eye to eye, but it was a pleasure, and good luck to you where you land.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your time up there.
Mr. Condek.
Council, thank you for the vote of confidence. Mike Smith, I will miss you. I enjoyed our working relationship, our personal discussions over the year and a half or so. And I know you'll do a bang-up job in Clawson. So farewell and good luck.
Thank you. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yep.
Update, Mr. Smith. I know your last day is Friday, so.
Yep. Last couple little notes. The new village monument signs were ordered. They should be here in September, thereabouts. The DPW will remove the old ones and install new. And I've already been in discussions with Julie from the beautification committee with working in the flowers there and the Parks and Rec board, so they're fully aware of that. Once the timeline's there, I'm sure we'll reach out to them so they know that they can remove the flowers before so they don't get damaged, and then work on beautifying them. I want to thank all the residents for coming out to vote. This was clearly a different scenario of voting under the pandemic. Thank you to all the volunteers who worked the election as inspectors, and of course the Commerce Township Clerk's Office and their department for all the work they do leading up to it, the day of, and even the days after. Just to update you, the village candidate filing deadline for village council has come and gone, and we have 8 candidates vying for 4 seats in November. So I'm sure the League of Women Voters and things like that will probably reach out to all of you at some point to get that stuff. So it's going to be an interesting time to run for office in the pandemic. So I wish you all luck. Good luck in that. I want to thank, of course, Hunter Smith as well, because he did advise me that his last day will be Friday, August 28th now. So he was asked to stay on through the rest of the month. He did tell me it's okay. I wish him well on his new venture as well. So wish him well on that. Again, thank you to the council, residents, and most of all the staff for their continued service to this community, to Paige, Tabitha, the police department, the chief, all the DPW guys, and especially Mike. Like he stated, it's been a pleasure. Wish it was longer, of course, and things occurred, and you do what's best for it. But I did want to thank everyone for this opportunity. And to the community, I know they will be in great hands, and that you will pick a new interim administrator, or Mike is serving as that, and then the future administrator that will continue on with a lot of the programs and projects that a lot of you have helped along the process. So thank you again.
Hey, thank you, Mike. Council comments, let's move, let's go, Mr. Scott.
Well, again, Mike, thanks so much. I know we worked together on many projects, and you're going to be missed, but I've got a kid living in Royal Oak. I'll stop by and see you every once in a while over there in Columbus.
So, thank you.
Good health to you and your family. I know that was the important prerogative that you had moving through this COVID, which we're still moving through, actually. In general, to council, I did vote no on a couple things. I just wanted you to know quickly the background. I believe the new appointed interim administrator is the best person to make the decisions on what pay increases should be and et cetera. This council argues continuously about pennies and then turns around and does things which in good heart should be done. And I know that's your final end job, but you do have administrators that make this decision. I wonder at times if that's one of the reasons we're not losing a good man and a man before that. As I say, good luck, Mike, and good night.
Mr. Sikowitz.
Well, we've had some crazy heat waves, and I guess I'm wondering are we doing, and John Scott can probably answer, are we doing the same amount of weed control as we've done in the past?
We're doing more, Edward. We have a guy out there landscaping in the harvester. I don't know what his gross tonnage is, but you'd have to look at Michael for that. He is collecting weeds, but actually we've stepped up twice at the board. You've approved 2 additional runs for our limnologists to do surveying so we can get on top of algae.
I noticed that we're having, it seems like it wasn't even a month ago that we had a chemical treatment.
Well, you asked the question, are we doing more? And I just said we were, yeah, both with harvesting and with chemical.
Oh, yes or no? Thank you.
Anything else, Ed?
Good luck to Mike in the future.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Walt?
I'm pretty good. Just for the chief, I think he probably already went to the sunset. Pretty good sunset here too. Thanks, y'all.
Okay. Mr. Dumont?
Thank you, Michael Smith. I'm sorry we're losing you. And I know you care about your family. and you've got your own agenda, we'll move on to somebody that's way better than you.
Understood. Thank you.
Thank you for the giggles and understood the laughter. So that's it.
Mark?
Thanks for being the administrator, and I wish you the best of luck in your new endeavor.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Malik?
Yeah, Michael, thank you. I appreciate the initiative you put in to bring us up to snuff on a lot of changes that needed being done. I'm sorry to see you go. Best to you and your family in your new endeavor. Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thanks, Bob. And finally, a couple things for me. First of all, I'd like to have everybody keep in their thoughts and prayers Jennifer Olowski's husband, Pete. She rushed him to the hospital Saturday with a medical condition, and I'm not sure how things are. Leanne, maybe you can kind of.
Yeah, they were on vacation, right?
No, they were home.
They were home,
And
yeah.
he had a couple, I think Sunday morning, he had a mini stroke like at home. And then she got him to the hospital, and while in the hospital, the best place to be, he did have a few more mini, and then he had a bigger stroke, and they were able to give him the drug, within minutes, that miracle drug that they have for strokes. And he's doing much better. He had lost all feeling on his left side, and his face was drooping, and his speech was affected, and his movement and everything, but the drug really, worked its miracle. And he still, I haven't really had a good update today, but he did come home from the hospital today. So he was he was in the ICU and everything, but he got out, and so he's going to have some rehab, but his speech is, almost back to normal. The facial is almost back to normal, and he's just having some trouble, I think, with his feeling. So he's on the road to recovery, but very, very serious event for sure.
Yeah, well, thanks for the update. She's been in my thoughts, so.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah, well, appreciate it. Thank you. Mike Smith, thanks again for serving the year and a half or so with us. I thought you've done a great job. Appreciate everything you've instituted, and you've done a nice job for us. So wish you and your family the very best. Good luck at Clausen. I know you're going to do a fine job. So take care. I know we'll see you around as you live around this area.
Yep.
And frequent it quite a bit. So look forward to seeing you at Dairy Twister in the park. So
Thank you, sir.
take care. Okay. With that, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Sinkowitz, second by Duff. Roll call, I guess.
Dumont,
Yes.
Sinkowitz,
Yes.
Nedrow,
Yes.
Duff,
Yes.
Malik,
No, yes.
Scott,
Yes.
York.
Yes.
Okay.
Good night, everybody.
Night
Good
all.
night.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Hold
Thanks,
on.
Enjoy
Rob.
the sunset.
Can I talk to you for a minute? Real quick?
Who are you talking to, Ed?